Somebody very dear to me once said, mentoring is a brain to pick, a ear to lend, and a push in the right direction. And if you find someone embodying all of that, you may just be the luckiest person in the world. Now, I didn't understand the importance of those words back then, but I believe I just might now. Can any of you recall a mentor, someone that you loved so immensely that you woke up every morning just wishing to see them without pressing the snooze button 17 times? I sure can. And I was fortunate enough to have someone like that in my life. Miss Anjali, my 4th grade science teacher. She is someone who has dedicated years in education, passing on knowledge, training, and inspiring young students, including me. Yet, while working in a quality control unit at a pharmaceutical at the very beginning of her career, she was assigned merely base tasks such as sterilization of equipment or autoclaving media, whereas her male counterparts were appointed the more scientifically intensive deemed duties. She was overlooked, disregarded, even though their qualifications were perfectly matched. Why? Because she was a woman? But of course, how could a woman ever be as good as a man? Not even the literal vacuum of outer space is spared from the clutches of this bias. Women will face added hurdles simply because everything in space carries the legacy of Apollo. It was designed by men, for men. Today, I ask you all just a single question. Why? Why is it that in this modern age, women still face this veiled bigotry? My name is Keira Singh, and this is not my story. This is not Miss Anjali's story. This is a story of young women from all corners of the world and their journey from hopelessness to hope, from injustice to justice, and inequality to equality. A story of silenced women everywhere. This is a journey that each woman who desires to leave behind a permanent change makes at least once in her life. Few make it. Majority don't. You and I, we reside in this translucent bubble of privilege. And whether we'd like to admit it or not, it has blinded us to the struggle of those around us, blinded us to the constant struggle of those around us. I have had the privilege of being a tech secretary for an entire year, but there are girls out there who don't even have access to the most basic of technical amenities, the same ones that you and I take for granted. We meet young women every week under our school's non-profit initiative in partnership with the Delhi government, where we mentor these young girls from underprivileged and poverty-stricken communities. Personally, during my first few interactions, I was bombarded with questions ranging from the innate to the technical, from the most basic to the profound. And it's then I realized we must foster the eagerness to learn and explore new boundaries. And all we really need to do is tear down those fortresses that restrict us. Tear down those fortresses brick by brick, one question at a time, so that we can begin to rebuild their futures. These are girls who were abandoned by any family they had ever known. Survivors. And yet, their faces lit up when someone, anyone, was willing to put in time, put in effort, to show them the opportunities that lie beyond their harsh reality. I believe that's all we need. That's how little we need, an opportunity. An opportunity is all we ask for. For centuries, an opportunity is all women have asked for. A seat at the table is all we demand. while talking to these girls, for whom even attending virtual classes on their smartphone was just the greatest deal. It was a challenge to bring about topics such as STEM, which colloquially stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Because, and only because, none of this actually reflects in their own lives. How many times have you guys just heard men say something as casually sexist as, "A woman can't change tires," or "leave the technical stuff to the men"? To all those men, we have an answer. Every Saturday morning, we sat down and we studied. We studied the most fundamental of scientific topics. We studied the mechanics of a bulb. And 2 weeks passed. And on that final lesson, we watched as this young girl who didn't even have the courage to say the words filament and tungsten, we watched her change a bulb on her very own. Now, this may seem as just a simple achievement, but in fact, it is an astounding step. So now look, one day, you and I can only aspire to become that mentor, so that another young girl will wake up without pressing the snooze button 17 times, with a torch and hopefully a world willing to lend her a match, so she may be the next trailblazer into a better tomorrow. Thank you.